Welcome back. Well, today's book is part 1 of 2 from a book called Breathe. And it's a book about how did the early church start? Today, in part 1, we're going to learn about Ascension Day and Pentecost, otherwise sometimes known as the birthday of the church. Let's read. Breathe. Written by Laura Allery, illustrations by Catherine Peterslund. Laura Allery is an author, storyteller, religious educator, and a mom of 3 creative and curious children. She leads workshops on everything from storytelling to biblical interpretation, teaches the occasional university course, and works in a theological library. Catherine Peterslund is an illustrator, visual artist, and cartoonist. She studied at the animation workshop in Denmark and graduated with a bachelor's degree in graphic storytelling. She now works as a freelance illustrator in Copenhagen. The day of Pentecost is coming. The church is changing color. The white and gold of Easter will soon burst into flaming red, then cool to green. The world outside has its own seasons. It is changing colors too. In many places, the whites and browns of winter have been folded away for another year. Colors are bursting out everywhere. Wildflowers in ditches, birds flashing bright wings, dandelions popping out in unexpected places. Everything is greening. It feels like the sleeping world is waking up again, taking a deep breath, getting ready to grow. Breathless. The news left them breathless. "I am going away," said Jesus. "You will not see me anymore." His friends could not understand. On that terrible day when Jesus died, their world seemed to crumble. They held tight to one another to keep from tumbling into emptiness. But then, how was it possible? He was back. Wild joy sprang up in them. This time, they promised, we will hold on to him and never let go. But Jesus shattered their hopes. Like small children, his friends clung to him, overflowing with questions. "Where are you going? Can we come too? When will you come back? Who will stay with us?" But Jesus gathered them close and said, "Don't be afraid. I will never leave you alone. A helper is coming to show you the way, to stand by you, to comfort you, to be with you always. Watch and wait." Then he was gone, like smoke from a candle, dissolving into thin air. They held their breath and waited. Sometimes I hold my breath when I am scared or when something hurts a lot. Saying goodbye to someone you love hurts. When they go, they leave an empty space no one else can fill. Other people come, but it is not the same. I wonder why Jesus came back to his friends only to go away again. Why did he get their hopes up? That must have hurt. They must have been afraid. I guess everyone is afraid sometimes. Afraid of losing someone important. Afraid of new things. Afraid of change. Afraid of being alone. It would help to have a friend who never goes away. I wonder who that could be. On the last Sunday of Easter, we hear the story of the Ascension. That is a big word that means going up. As we hear the story of how Jesus went back to God, the storyteller lights a candle and then puts out the flame. A curlicue of smoke rises, then dissolves into the air. I can smell it even after it disappears. The light is still with us in some way, but it is not the same. Breathe in. The doors were locked. The Bible tells the story in two different ways, but in both accounts, this part is the same. After Jesus went away, his friends huddled together behind thick walls and locked doors. Fear squeezed their throats until it was hard to breathe. They had no idea what they were waiting for, but Jesus had promised a helper was coming. And then the story splits in two, like branches of a tree. In one branch, the Spirit comes like fire, showering everyone with sparks until their fear is burned away. And they crackle with courage to say and do new things, things they never thought they could. Unruly as a wild wind, the Spirit scatters them like seeds. Wherever they settle, they tell the story of Jesus in different ways, so everyone can understand. In the other branch, the Spirit comes gently. Jesus slips silently into that locked room. Receive the Spirit, he says, and breathes out. In the very beginning, so the story in Genesis goes, the Spirit sighed and fluttered over the waters, breathing life into the world. As they sit quietly with Jesus, breathing in, his friends feel their hearts settle into a steady beat. Their fear drains away and they feel alive again. Jesus slips away unnoticed, but his friends are no longer afraid. Now they understand. The Spirit that was in Jesus is in them too. Always, as close as their own breath. On the day of Pentecost, the church is dressed in red, the color of fire. We celebrate the gift of the Spirit with a cake and candles, streamers, and pinwheels. The wind catches them and sets them spinning. It breathes into the banners over our heads and makes them dance. I can't see the wind, but I know when it is near. It makes things move. On the night of Pentecost, we have a bonfire. The blaze makes a circle of warmth. It lights up our faces as we sing. A spark leaps out and burns a hole in my blanket. Maybe anything powerful can destroy as well as create. Maybe they go together, like death and life. I am learning new ways to pray with the wind and my own breath. Some days I blow bubbles and watch the breeze carry them. Each bubble is like a prayer for someone. We use scissors, fabric, and glue to make prayer flags. I put words on mine: peace, hope, love, joy, welcome. We hang them outside. When the wind passes by, it makes them flutter. I wonder, who will see my prayers? I wonder how far my prayers can go. I like to lie on my back in the grass on a warm day, watching the clouds. I imagine my breath is making them move. In and out, in and out. My belly rises and falls as the clouds drift across the sky. Sometimes I add a few words. Peace. Jesus. Thank you. Spirit. Breathe in me. I like to run and jump and move, but I notice a lot more when I just sit. Sometimes it is good to be still. I feel like I'm getting ready for something. I wonder what the Spirit will do through me. Come back next week for part 2. Breathe out. The growing time.